Hello, friends, and welcome to a Kings of Anglia special. It's the first time we've ever spoken to a friend of the show on the show. Austin Vidal with me, Mark Heath hosting as ever. Austin, as much as we appreciate you being a friend of the show, that's not actually the reason we're speaking to you today. We're speaking today because of what you can see scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You're going to do something quite spectacular to raise money for Marcus Stewart and the Derby Rimmer Foundation at Portman Road next week. First of all, mate, how are you? How's being back in Ipswich? Because you're normally living over in Oz, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm based in Penrith, which is just by the Blue Mountains in Sydney, and being back home is always good. As much as I'm based in Australia now with my family, Ipswich will always be a home as well. It's great to see some familiar faces and get around the town, although it's a little bit cold at the moment. I'm definitely feeling it, but I'm loving it at the same time.
Nice one. And while you're back, you're going to do this pretty remarkable marathon fundraiser, which we'll talk about in a minute. Before we get to that, though, mate, let's start with a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you got to the point where you're now going to run 27 miles to raise money for a town legend. So you grew up a town fan, I'm assuming. Tell us all about yourself.
Yeah, so I was very much born into a Manchester United household. I was given the middle name Trafford. I couldn't escape it, and I absolutely loved it. It was in the 90s. It was a great time to be a Manchester United fan. But as my grandma, who's still a season ticket holder, would get us down to Portman Road all the time with Bam Bam, he particularly stands out as a young town fan. Things just grew from there. As I got older and could go to the games by myself with my mates in the Britannia stand, Ipswich kind of took over. Wembley 2000 certainly helped with that. And as I've travelled all over the world, it's the Ipswich Town shirt that comes with me.
Yeah, and there's a real community right around the world with town. Talk to me about your personal journey, because you're from Ipswich, you live in Australia now, you are a personal trainer. I follow you on social media. You do a lot of what I would call crazy running events, running ridiculous distances incredibly quickly. So talk to us a bit about your background from that side of things.
Still to this day, when people ask me about it, how I got into it, I honestly don't know. I was doing some strongman events and bodybuilding in the town when I was younger. Got a bit unhealthy, stopped training, got lazy. My dad and brother were doing parkrun, which we see in a few places around the area now. I slogged myself around there, and I must have been 19 stone at the time. There was this buzz at the events, and I wanted more. I don't know why, because I really suffered. I was normally hungover when I was doing it. I kept going back. The weight fell off, and I was doing a little bit of boxing at the time, kind of going through the triathlon disciplines, and things spiraled from there. I combined that with travel. It kept me on the straight and narrow, as you'd say. It kept me sober, and ended up going to Kenya, running behind a lot of people at that point. Wow. Still to this day, getting amongst something that makes you feel good. And that's what I found with running. It's helped me massively. Normally when I come back or I bump into people that I know, it puts a smile on their face. I don't always realise it's not something that everyone can do. But again, it's just being open to that. So others who might think, I could never do a park run, let alone a lap of Portman Road, it really can be done. I've managed to win a few events since I've been away. I still can't believe it now, because I'm just a normal bloke.
Yeah. How did you end up? How did this normal bloke who was new to running, how did he end up being a personal trainer in Australia then? What's taking you over there?
I think it's just the passion for travel, sports, like the running, the boxing, the triathlon, football. It becomes like a global language, and you just get involved with it more and more. I was working at the Port of Felixstowe for some time in security around the town. I really enjoyed that, but as I become a father, the best part of 18 months ago, I realised perhaps some of those opportunities to do everything wasn't quite possible. So I had to make a decision. I felt at 30 odd years old, it was kind of now or never. My hair's getting a bit thinner, a little bit more silver. I felt that window of people listening to me might go pretty quick. Yeah. Even now, racing against some guys who have got 10, 20 years on me, it's inspirational. It's just taking that inspiration of these things can be done. You can still stay active beyond 30, 40, 50. We've got guys out there who are 70s and 80s and they're smashing records. So wow. It's incredible. You just find the inspiration wherever you go.
And before we get on to this event, you mentioned training in Kenya with runners, and obviously Kenyan runners are the elite of the elite. What was that like?
Again, I just threw myself in there. I'd watched many videos online, and I found myself kind of going through the Asia route of travel and looking down that aspect. The parties were appealing and they were good fun, but at the same time, I thought, this doesn't really fit in with running. It doesn't fit in with any other sports training. I wanted a destination that could offer me that. And I went there. It goes beyond the running. I am a good runner, but I'm certainly not elite and not as fast as the Kenyans. I'm just a normal bloke. And being in Kenya amongst these superhumans was a life-changing experience. I recommend it to anyone, whether you're a runner, a walker, a volunteer. It's incredible because these people are very humble, they're very kind, very warm, and their world is so different to ours. So yeah, that was one of the big ones that put me on this path.
Whereabouts in Kenya were you? Were you like a set training camp, or?
Yeah, so there's a very special place called Aten, which is up in the mountains, and you live at altitude. Life is very simple up there. You'll walk down to the local shop and you'll see 200 runners gathering, and it's only when you get to know some of these guys and they start telling you about the times or what Olympics they've been to, the Commonwealth Games and all these amazing things, and they're just rocking up at 6 a.m, a good 200 of them, and they're ready for a stampede fartlek run. You cannot imagine it. It would be like seeing 24 professional footballers rocking up in the park for a kickabout. You can't replicate it.
What a life experience. Let's talk then, shall we, about this event that you're planning. A week on Sunday at Portman Road, you're planning to run 27-mile marathon, obviously a nod to Marcus Stewart's number when he first arrived at town. Tell us all about it. Why are you doing it? What's the plan?
I think I've always followed the podcast and various sports shows. It keeps my mind occupied, and it's something I love to listen to when I'm away. It keeps me in touch with home. And I'd listened to a few bits on Marcus before, and you could just hear his passion for coaching and football that's gone beyond that great football career he had. And kind of when the news come out about Marcus that we saw with the club, I was obviously upset, like many people. I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to understand myself as a male, conscious about his own health. We've seen many inspirational fundraisers, and I thought I've kind of got an ability here where I can do something with my body. Hopefully it would just kind of shake up a few ideas and get a few other people inspired and keep moving, and hopefully just give Marcus some peace from all the stuff that he's got going on, and we can create some noise and tackle MND head on.
Essentially, you're at 8 a.m. a week on Sunday, you're going to be at Portman Road and you're going to run 27 miles, which to a normal human being like myself, anyone watching this will think, what? You're just going to run 27 miles? That's because of the number, and also you're looking for donations to the MND cause, the Derby River Foundation, which Marcus is supporting.
Yeah, that's the plan. I kind of thought, right, let's pick a sensible start time. At the moment, when I'm in Sydney to beat the sun, I'm normally out 4, 5, 6 a.m. And I thought, right, over here it's going to be a bit colder. Let's start at a time where people might find it a bit more socially acceptable. I thought I'd start at 8 o'clock. I'd do the 27 laps, which is approximately a mile. We're going to go down Portman Road, up past Staples or wherever it might have changed to now, and then back round again. And I'd try and tick both boxes, completing at least 27 laps and at least 27 miles. A marathon is 26.2, but I thought we've got to make this a bit more special for Marcus because he's very special to a lot of people around the town. He's given us Wembley, and a lot's gone on from there with the club and the area. We're working all the time to try and replicate that and relive them moments. Hope that by doing the 27, it can be something that people might want to come down and offer me a bit of support, whether that be a clap or just walk around and feel some of the energy that way. Or if they're feeling a bit more energetic, they might want to have a little jog around with me.
And how long would do you reckon it'll take you to run this 27 miles? Because clearly a good marathon time is kind of 3 hours for a normal runner, like a non-elite runner, but a very good runner. So what kind of time are you looking at, you reckon?
I'm trying to be sensible. I want it to be socially acceptable. I've got a few friends coming down, which means a lot. I do a lot of solo training, and part of being back in Ipswich is just to spend time with people, see family, see friends, see town fans. So I'm going to do it at whoever's next to me. I'm going to do it at a comfortable pace for them. Obviously, it's got me thinking, right, if I really want to put my foot down on it, could I do it under 3 hours? Wow. Yeah, why not? If there's some people there and they want to give me a clap, I love the energy. I love making people smile. Even when I am doing a race, I'd rather clap someone else and give a thumbs up or something to the crowd than be purely focused on myself. I'm a bit of an entertainer in that way. So yeah, it's going to be at a sensible pace. I would like to get cooking at some points, maybe put in one fast lap at the end, but I want to have a few people next to me sharing the day.
The idea is obviously people come down, they support you, they donate, and you're talking about potentially hoping this could become an annual thing to raise money for Marcus and the foundation.
Yeah, definitely. I think the town's got so many great runners. We've got walkers. We've got a good community out there, and it's bringing out that community, combining it with the club, stretching it across the town, and creating more good times off Wembley, off the club, off Marcus, for everyone. So whether it be an annual thing or just something that people think, oh, you know what, I can't do 27 miles, but I might try 2.7, or I might just start with a lap, start my fitness journey there. Then everyone can buy in that way. It's about being inclusive at the moment.
And inspiring people. Obviously, Marcus Stewart inspired you, so he's the man.
Massively.
What does Marcus Stewart mean to you?
Marcus Stewart, see, at the time I'd have been about 10 years old, so I wouldn't have been quite the analyst that I am now, or that we all think we are now.
Yeah.
He was one of the players that you want to be on the playground. I think my running ability and my football ability are two very different things. So I definitely wasn't the goal scorer. But in my head, and I think in many others, we were all Marcus Stewart on that playground at some point. We had the gloves. I've got the shirt now with the short sleeves. Marcus was just a goal scorer. He was a man that you want to celebrate. And we would always sing the song Walking the Stewart Wonderland. And it still happens now. That's what Portman Road is. It's something special for many players.
Have you got a favourite Marcus Stewart memory of his time at town?
I think he was a goal scorer, wasn't he? As a kid, you weren't going to sit there and analyse the game. You were going to just watch the players and wait for the dodgy keeper chance or bam, bam. You just wanted the crowd to get going, and you knew when Marcus Stewart was on the pitch, there was going to be a goal sooner or later. That's what it was, like climbing on your seat as a kid, jumping up and down and hugging the people around.
When you actually do the run, you mentioned the famous gloves. It's going to be pretty cold. Are you going to be wearing anything in tribute to Marcus? Have you got the gloves?
Of course, the gloves are going to come out. I do get very sweaty quite quick. That is a downfall of mine because I am a bigger runner, so I'm not an out-and-out marathoner. But the gloves have got to be there. There's no two ways about it. I think I've got some other people trying to put a shirt on me for the event. They're trying to get behind it, but I think the Ipswich Town one I've got on now and the blue gloves is no compromise on that, really.
Absolutely iconic. Have you had a chance to go to games since you've been back? Are you going on Saturday, for example?
I'm actually away in Bristol. I'm visiting my brother who lives up there. So I know that there's a mural up there for Marcus. So I'm planning to have a little jog down, just the 8 miles, and check on that. I haven't managed to get to as many games. I got down to Accrington the other night and I loved it. It's been a long 3 years, but it's absolutely fantastic.
How are you feeling about town this season? Is this going to be the season? They're going to go up top 2, do you reckon?
I put this question on a lot of people, especially when I get back. We can talk football properly because the language doesn't always translate. Like, you'll get a lot of people come over when they hear your accent. They want to speak to you about football, and they're still questioning whether Ipswich Town the Premier League. And I say, sadly not, but we'll be back there soon enough. I question them if they pause, but you've got to believe. That's why we're football fans. We'll believe in our club.
Absolutely. And there's no reason not to at the moment. 5 wins in a row, 6 clean sheets. Things are looking good.
Exactly. The numbers don't lie.
Indeed. Have you got a target for the amount of money? I see your original target was £100, which you've already gone by. So have you got a number in your head?
It was £100 originally because things can be tight. Everyone's going through a cost of living crisis. So if people want to donate 27p, £27 or £2.70, it all adds up and goes towards the great cause. I think, as you've got me on the question now, we've surpassed 100. Let's go to 270.
270's got to be the next obvious target, hasn't it? I think we can do a bit better than that, though. My Kings of Anglia Army, get involved, support Austin. In terms of donating, you've got the link there below. I've got your Instagram as well, which is probably the best way for people to follow you and also learn a bit more about you. I was going to ask if you're doing any kind of special training. No,
I'm not doing anything specific at the moment. I've got no events lined up when I go back, just kind of get back into family life and the swing of the heat out there. It will be hard. There's running beyond the hour can get a bit mind-numbing for me. I do start to struggle that way. It's not going to be easy. I've managed to get out with a few people since I've been back. I've teamed up with RCR, my local running group, to do a few sessions up there. So it's just kind of ticking over, looking after the body. And I know there's a bit of pressure on me to perform on the day, but what place to do it? Portman Road.
Absolutely. And what cause to do it for. Let's hope we can get some support down there for you on the day. Austin, is there anything else you want to say before we sign off?
You've caught my tongue for a second here. I've been rolling the words off pretty well. Not expecting a big crowd to be there. It will just be me running with hopefully a few friends or anyone else that wants to join.
Yeah.
But if you can take something away from it and use that to inspire your own fundraising, or you want to help with fundraising towards a further event for Marcus and the Derby Rimmer Foundation, it's so important. There's a lot of good work going on there. They need our help, whether it be big or small. I think everyone can offer something.
It's a great cause, mate. It's a great idea. I hope it's a great day. I'm sure it will be. As I say, everyone get behind him. Donate if you can. The link is there. Austin Vidal will be running 27 miles at Portman Road a week on Sunday to raise money for Marcus Stewart and the Derby Rimmer Foundation. Thanks so much for joining us, Austin. Best of luck with it. Have a good trip to Bristol, and hopefully we'll speak to you after you've done this marathon.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye.